What really makes building things worth it? Is it the profit, the challenge, or just the satisfaction of making something with your hands? Today I'm putting that to the test by building 3 different pub tables. Each one took more time and effort than the one before it, but in the end only one of them felt like it was truly worth it. And stick around because at the end of this video I'm going to put all of them for sale online, and I'll let you know which one brought in the biggest return in value and I guess meaning. I picked up 10 of these table bases at a flea market probably like 8 years ago or so, and I completely forgot I had them until I was cleaning out the attic of my barn and stumbled across them. And since I'm currently refinishing the barn, I figured this would be a good way to make a couple extra bucks to invest into it. Alright, so I started with the simplest design, and for this all I'm going to use are 2x4s. I have a stack of 2x4s laying around because I needed to buy a bunch for the barn. And because I had some extras, I figured I'd give this quick idea a try. This is a super simple idea that anybody can do, but all I did was start by breaking these down on my miter saw. I think it took me 3, maybe 3.5 2x4s to do this. Once they were all cut to length, I brought them over to my table saw and started ripping them to width. I'm just cutting off the little round edge that's on the sides of all 2x4s. Then I just slid my table saw fence over a tiny bit and cut off the other rounded edge. Now that everything was nice and square, I could cover it with a ton of glue. Then I just flipped everything up and clamped it together. Once the glue was dry, I used my track saw to cut it nice and square on one side, then brought it over to my table saw and squared up all 4 sides. If you don't have a track saw, you could use a circular saw with a straight edge. Now that that was done, back over to the miter saw to cut 45s on some of these 2x4s. This is going to be a frame around the outside of this table. I ripped them on my table saw so they'd be a little bit thinner. Then using an electric hand planer, I just flattened out the top of this like you can see. Once I had it basically flat, I used my sanding disc on my angle grinder. This makes for really fast work, and it's something I use quite often when I have a rough sand to do. Now it looks like I'm just using my bare hands to apply this stain, and I might as well have because my hands got completely covered in stain, but there is actually a rag under my hand there. I'm disgusting, but maybe not that disgusting. I did a layer of that maple, whatever it's called, colonial maple, and it was ugly, so I decided to go over it with a dark stain, which gave it a cool two-tone kind of look. I put on some paste wax, and then I can flip this thing over and screw it to my base. Like I said, I'm going to put this online at the end of this video and see how much I can get for it. This build only took me about 45 minutes if you don't count the time waiting for glue to dry. Alright, moving on to build number 2. I don't have a zero clearance insert for my table saw, so this is just a quick fix you can use in a pinch. Once I had my zero clearance done, I made this quick little jig. It's just a piece of wood nailed to another piece of wood, like that. Now bring this over to your table saw and slide your table saw fence over so that this board is 1/8 of an inch away from your table saw blade. Now you can take your little scraps of wood and run them through the blade like so. This helps you avoid to have any sort of kickback. Just make sure you don't push onto the side of the board like I did right here, because then you're going to get kickback and this whole jig is worthless. So yep, put your push stick on the top like that. So one of the benefits of making a table like this is I used all scraps. I had a ton of little pieces of hardwood that I had really no use for. So I decided to make a table in this style. This is going to be a parquet table. Now because it's going to be a parquet table, I need something to glue all of these scraps onto, so I went over to Home Depot to get a sheet of plywood, which I didn't want to do because I knew it was going to cost me $50. But I'm driving home, I got enough to do at least 3 tabletops with this MDF. I was going to buy 1 sheet of plywood, which would have given me enough wood to do 2 tabletops.
and that was $50. This was $15 because I got it out of the sale rack. If you go to the back of Home Depot, there's always a big rack of just stuff people have returned or damaged goods. And sometimes you can find a really good deal back there, and it's always worth checking out. Anyway, yeah, check that out for sure.
Anyway, I applied a ton of glue to the top of this MDF, and then I could take all of my little pieces of scrap wood and start gluing them down to the top of the MDF. I tried to avoid nailing it as much as I could because I didn't want you to see the nail holes, but it turns out once I started sanding it, it was hard to tell that there were nail holes at all anyway. The sawdust tended to fill in all of the tiny little nail holes, hiding them all perfectly. I'm sure there's a few you could see, but I'm over it. Once all the glue had dried, I brought it over to the table saw and I could square everything up. Now I just needed to attach a frame around the outside of this tabletop. I just used some more hardwood scraps that I had laying around, and just like the table before, I just used paste wax to seal the whole thing and then brought it outside and attached this base. Now this table probably took me about 2 hours to make, which is a big jump from 40 minutes. So when I go to price this, I have to try to keep that in mind. Alright, now on to table 3, the most complicated table out of all of them, and honestly it's not even that difficult really either. I had this big piece of Barnwood laying around for a long time. I always figured I would probably use it for a table leg on something, but I decided today was the day I was just going to rip it down into thin pieces just like I did for the last parquet table. Now because this board was much longer and much bigger, I didn't have the opportunity to use the jig that I made, so I just slid the table saw fence over to about 1/8 of an inch away from the blade, and then I just ran this through the blade. The longer boards makes it harder for this to kick back and shoot at you, so I wasn't too worried about it. Once I had all my boards cut to their thickness, I reset my table saw fence as you can see, and then ran all these boards through to get a nice clean side, then adjusted the fence one more time and ran them all through one more time, so I had 2 clean sides on either side of this board. Alright, then I brought all these boards over to my miter saw and I just chopped off the ends of them so that it would be nice and square. Now, back out to another piece of this MDF. It's the next day, I'm measuring out and I'm cutting this to a 32-inch square. Alright, so this table is going to be a circle, which means I needed to make a circle cutting jig for my router. The first thing I was going to have to do is find the center of this square piece of wood. Now it was time to find the radius, which is the center of the board to the edge. Then I could drill a hole in a thin piece of hardboard that I had and attach my router to the other side. Where you drill the hole and where your router bit sits down on the other side of this long piece of hardboard should be the radius of the board you want to cut. Does that make sense? And then I just screwed this directly down to my work surface. That way I knew nothing would move while I was making this cut, but it can still spin freely because the washers are in between the hardboard and the MDF. So this is a plunge router, so I can lower it 1/8 of an inch at a time, make a pass, lower it down another 1/8 of an inch until voila, I was all the way through. Now that I had cut myself a perfect circle, it was time to move back into the workshop and start cutting out all of my thin pieces of wood. So if you watched one of my old videos where I made a record player stand, the cabinet doors were made completely out of little hexagons. This is the same setup as that, so I'm just going to roll the short video that I made for that to explain how this jig works right here.
Grab yourself a digital protractor and set it to 60 degrees. Set one side up against your table saw blade like so, and then you can take a piece of scrap wood and run it along the other side of your digital protractor. Once you have it laid out, you can screw it down, make sure it goes across the cut like so, and of course make sure you don't put any screws where your table saw blade is going to hit. Take another piece of wood and make a cut using the piece we just screwed in. You now have a 60-degree angle cut on that scrap piece of wood, and you can screw that one in like so. The further away from the blade you put this piece of wood, the bigger your hexagon will be.
Alright, so I had this idea to do not full hexagons. I was going to do multiple pieces of half hexagons, as you can see I'm doing right there, and then I decided I didn't like it. Once I realized I didn't like it, I decided I would do diamonds. Now to make sure I cut the perfect diamond, I cut one side at 60 degrees, so nothing on the jig had to change at this point. Then I turn up my table saw, take my board, and turn it 90 degrees so it was sitting against my table saw blade like so. Now I had a spot that I knew I had to attach that little piece of wood that you can see right there, so I just brad nailed that on. And then check this out. Make a cut, boom, look at perfect diamond. Make another cut, and boom, another perfect diamond. It just keeps going like that for a long time. As a matter of fact, I made 220 of these perfect diamonds. Exactly what I was, so this is exactly what I was saying at the beginning of this video. Some of them take a lot of time, other ones don't take much time, and then you're trying to sell them and you got to figure out how to price them, which can be very difficult. But we'll get to how the sales went in a minute. So once I had them all cut, I started laying them all out on my MDF, as you can see. I laid them out in a pattern that would make them all look like cubes. It's a very simple pattern. Alright, so once I had them all laid out onto my MDF and nailed, glued, everything was ready to go. I sanded the whole tabletop so that it would be nice and smooth. Then I brought the whole thing back out onto my little outdoor workbench there, flipped it over, and used my router with that same jig to remove all of the outside pieces. I had to go back and glue a few on that broke, but no big deal. I just glued them and clamped them, left them for overnight, then came back out and sanded everything with my angle grinder, sander, hand sanding, all of that. And this one I didn't just use wax on. I decided to seal this one because I guess I'll just say it, this one is my favorite. I love this table. I was thinking about keeping it, but I put it up for sale, and we'll get to that. Anyway, I attached this base and there we go. It's perfect for up in my barn. So even though I'm probably not going to keep it, I might make myself one for up in the barn eventually. Now let's get on to Facebook Marketplace. I posted all 3 of these for sale. The first one took me 40 minutes. I decided to put 75 on it because honestly it's not the nicest table and I just wanted to see if it would go. The second one took me about 2 hours. I put $125 on that. And then the third table, the round one, that took me somewhere between 2.5 and 3 hours to make. I put $200 on that. So far it's been a week, and the second table that was all the scrap pieces of hardwood has sold. And so has the third table for $200. Both those tables sold, and the smaller, faster one did not. I think it will eventually. I'd be willing to take $50 for it because honestly, it wasn't a big deal to make, so I don't really care. There's definitely a value to making a quick buck, but I think learning something new and trying new things is far more important than that. I even went on my local Facebook Marketplace to see what kind of prices you can get on those table bases. I know that I got a really good price a while back. So even if you spent $10 on each one and then got creative with the build for the top, I think you could definitely still make some good money on this. And more importantly, have some fun in your workshop, because I think that's what it's really all about. Love you guys. I'll see you in the next one. And the barn is really moving along now. Me and my dad have been out there working constantly. It's been a lot of work, and that's why all these videos are taking longer to get out. So stick around for that. Hit the subscribe if you want to see the barn getting refinished, because it's coming out soon. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks so much for watching. Love you. Goodbye. Please share this video.